From beautiful New Haven, Connecticut, this is Ivy League Men's Lacrosse on ESPN. Today, it's a big-time matchup with huge postseason implications as the 13th-ranked Princeton Tigers take on the 9th-ranked Yale Bulldogs. Hi, everybody. Alongside Patrick Reid, I'm Justin Gallanty. Thanks so much for being with us. Really important game for both teams. Yale clinches a share of the Ivy League championship with a win. Princeton, meanwhile, needs to win today, Pat, or have Brown lose to get the last spot in the Ivy League tournament.
Yeah, they don't want to leave that up to chance. They want to take care of business here on the field, and they're ready to take care of business today.
What's really interesting is the clash of styles between these two teams, right? Yale is the #1 scoring offense in the country, but Princeton features the Ivy League's best defense.
Yeah, they are just a stingy defense, and that was really, if you look at last year's matchups, the defense was really, Yale was really had a tough time scoring, and Princeton able to control the ball and put the ball in the net.
Let's take a look at our players to watch this afternoon. Colter McAsee, the leading scorer for Princeton, and he has had a great career specifically against his opponent today.
Yeah, last year, the regular season game, 8 goals, 2 assists against Yale, really took control of the game and kept the foot on the gas and kept Yale from being able to get back into that game.
On the Yale side of things, most people say they have the best player in the country, and that is Matt Brandow.
Matt Brandow, he just does it all. He's got 41 goals, 53 assists. No player does more for their team than he does for Yale.
It's just a great crowd today here at Reese Stadium. Probably the best one of the year. A lot of black and orange, as you can imagine. Not a bad trip from Princeton. And a lot of navy and white. It is senior day for Yale. And Princeton, with its backs up against the wall, need a winner or Brown loss to get to the Ivy League tournament. Yale knows it will be there next week. The question is, what seed will the Bulldogs be? And will they potentially host the tournament? Yale clinches a share of the regular season title with a win today, and they would be the #1 seed and host the tournament with a win and a Cornell loss against Dartmouth. Opening face-off today is a big story already. It is Andrew McMeekin, as usual, for Princeton, and Nick Ramsey starting for Yale on his senior day. First came back since getting hurt against BU a couple weeks ago, and that one goes over the sideline, out of bounds, Princeton ball, and the first possession of the game goes to the Tigers, and you saw Ramsey limp off the field right after that first face-off, kind of chucked his stick away, and you wonder if that's the end of that experiment.
Yeah. He was giving it a shot. He had definitely hurt that knee. You could see the big knee brace on. He was trying to give it a go, and you just saw some contact from behind. Not a lot of contact, but just enough. Just definitely he was obviously in pain coming off the field.
So Princeton, a team that averages 13 goals per game, which is 4th out of the 7 teams in the Ivy League. This is their leader, Colter McAsee. They have a bunch of great freshmen. They have the #1 recruiting class in the country this year. McAsee gets his hands free, misses with the first shot of the game. Jared Paquette starts in goal, as he has every game this year for Yale, Patrick. But the last 3, he has split with Hugh Conrad, and we'll see if Andy Shea does that again today. Really
early in the year, Coach Shea had said to me that Conrad was really playing so well in practice that it really was hard for him not to justify giving him some time.
Nate Kabiri's shot handled by Paquette, so good start for the junior from West Islip, and now Yale will look to clear. The Bulldogs, the #1 scoring offense in the country, 16.54 goals per game, and led by the #1 individual scorer in America, Matt Brandow, who is going to break a bunch of records today. He needs just 2 points to become the career Ivy League leader, as Max Krevsky's shot is handled by Michael Gianforcaro, the reigning National Defensive Player of the Week. Had a big game in Princeton's win against Penn, and he also scored a goal.
Yeah, big goal there. We talked to Coach Madelon about it and said, you know, hey, did you let him go because you were a goalie? He said, no, I was calling a timeout the whole time.
Didn't even let us get the question out before he said that was not the plan. So here's Kabiri for Princeton. The Tigers lost 2 weeks ago against Brown. It was a big upset, and that's what put them in the spot of having to win their last 2 games, likely to get to the Ivy League tournament. They beat their rival Penn last week and now looking to win at Yale today. John Dunphy, shut off, pulls it out. Dunphy, the sophomore from New Jersey. Quick shot, and that rung off the post. Princeton will keep possession here and get a reset of the shot clock to 60. That was an impossible angle.
Yeah, you trying to use Christian Johnson as a screen and a very low angle. Good job by Paquette taking most of the net up.
There's Colin Burns, another one of these freshmen for Princeton. He and Kabiri were teammates in high school at Georgetown Prep in Maryland. Two of the top 20 recruits in the country. Just frozen at X here. Finds a man in front. Paquette made the stop. It was Tommy Barnes who took it, and I think Paquette got his right leg out there.
Well, Yale knew to look for that. That's something that Princeton loves to do. Get behind the net and really just send a lot of cutters through. And great job by Paquette being able to find that ball from a very short distance.
So Yale gets its second possession here. Went very quickly on the first. Gian Forcaro made a save. Logan Solberg, he fires wide of the net, and Carson Kuhl backs it up. It's actually a pretty rested Yale team. They haven't played since last Friday. Compared to what they had done the previous 3 weeks, this is an eternity of rest since the win against UAlbany here.
Yeah, they were playing a lot of games in a short amount of time, and you got to wonder how they would recover from that and get back ready for this game.
There's Peter Moynihan, the first year from Long Island. He's had points in 5 in a row. Thomas Bragg, first touch for Brandow, has a lot of room that gets shut off. He fires, and Gian Forcaro made the stop. So both goalies look sharp early, Pat.
Big game, and these guys are both rising to the challenge.
Gian Forcaro is #1 in the Ivy League in goals against average, second in save percentage and saves per game. Senior from Lincoln University, Pennsylvania, making his 23rd career start today. So no score, 4 minutes in a crucial game between the Bulldogs and the Tigers. Here is Tucker Wade. Gives it up for Mackesy. It got tipped, but still got to him. Mackesy had that monster game in the regular season against Yale last year. Mackesy finds an open man. Pass comes to X. This is Kabiri in front for Burns, and Paquette stoned him.
This is what Paquette can bring you. That he really just has the potential to steal games when he's hot. And right now, if he can continue to play like this, it's going to be a long day for Princeton.
And look at this battle. Jack Montfort gets out of the pile, still with the ball. Yale's the #1 team in the country in ground balls per game. So that is a big factor, and their sideline is fired up at the moment.
And the Yale faithful very, very excited by that effort and letting them know.
Johnny Kive's shot was blocked. It didn't get through. Princeton able to pick it up, and we've gone more than 5 minutes without a goal here in the first quarter. Gian Forcaro being harassed by David Anderson. Yale's ride was an absolute nightmare for UAlbany last week. They failed to clear 7 times in that game, UAlbany did. Made a huge difference. Mackesy being harassed by Patrick Hackler, and now time to set up for Princeton. Tigers ranked 13th in the country in the media poll coming into today, 15th in the RPI, so they are outside of the NCAA tournament picture looking in, and their season will end today if they don't win this game or Brown doesn't drop one to Harvard. That goal is #1 of the day. John Dunphy goes bar down and starts the scoring.
Dunphy with just a quick little move. Just as soon as he gets a step, he gets a shot. Hit off the post. It looked like it rung the post and then bounced in off of Paquette's back.
Ninth goal of the season, 14th point for John Dunphy, and a good start for Matt Madelon's team. 8th season as the head coach at Princeton, 59-36 record. Led the Tigers to the Ivy League Tournament Championship last year and the Final Four the year before, even though they missed the Ivy League Tournament. And of course, beat Yale in the national quarterfinal to get to the Final Four 2 years ago. And they beat the Bulldogs in the Ivy League Tournament Championship last year. Princeton has won 3 in a row, all fairly handily in this matchup against the Elis.
Well, the 2 games last year for Yale, really just defensively, the wheels fell off the bus and they weren't able to, they gave up over 20 to Cornell and Princeton, and just made a really rough stretch there, and they've definitely gotten things back together.
Here's Thomas Bragg for the Bulldogs. Still Bragg with it. Brandau from X. Now Carson Cool's had a 40-point season for Yale. Cole Cashian the first year, getting more and more time as this season rides along. Cashian with 24 to shoot, defended by the long stick. Long possession here for the Bulldogs. It's Brandau coming top side with it. He shoots just wide. Yale backs it up, but only 12 seconds to work with. Under 8 to go first quarter. Princeton up 1-0 on the Dunphy goal. Cool gets the screen from Bragg, gets room and scores! Carson Cool ties this game at 1.
Great individual effort there by Cool.
7:48 to go first quarter, and Carson Cool has made this a 1-1 game. Start here in New Haven between Yale and Princeton, and both goalies have been hot. Pat, Michael Gianforcaro for Princeton and Jared Paquette from Yale.
Both of these guys making saves that they shouldn't be making, and that's why I don't think any of us would have expected a 1-1 game 7 minutes in with both of these teams.
1-1 our score. Gianforcaro with 2 saves, Paquette with 3, and on the face-off, it's going to be Princeton controlling. It's Anthony Annunziata, the first year for Yale, who has had to play the majority of the last 3 games with injuries to Ramsey and Machado Rodriguez. And based on the reaction of Ramsey after the first face-off of the game, you would expect this is going to be Annunziata today, who's held up all right in some games, but obviously Yale is not what they were with Ramsey and Rodriguez, which was the #1 face-off team in the country percentage-wise. Yeah,
Annunziata definitely going to be a great face-off midfielder, but he's young, and that's that inconsistency and that learning process that comes with taking those reps in game. He's just got to get himself up to speed.
This is Tucker Wade, and that pass was picked off by Paquette. Tries to start the run out the other way. Stu's did a great job to pick up that ground ball. Pass was a little behind him, but Jack Stuzen, the All-American from last season, now throws one behind Montfort. We're going to have a battle for this ball. Kind of a sloppy play from Yale twice there. Pat Pisano comes right from the sideline, knocks it up in the air, and it's going to be a failed clear for Yale. Princeton ball. Kind of a rare mistake in that kind of spot.
Yeah, just a slightly off pass, and Yale not able to control it. So Princeton really's got to take this opportunity and make sure that they capitalize with a long shot clock here.
Chad Palumbo with it for the Tigers. Palumbo has 4 consecutive games with multiple points. Now Coulter Mackesy, their leading scorer, 2nd-team All-American last season. Palumbo again. Trying to find some space. Nice move, and he scores. What a move by Chad Palumbo. Left Jack Oken on the turf and beats Paquette to make it 2-1.
Chad Palumbo, more of a north-south dodger, using kind of that change of speed and just kind of a step back. Oken kind of dives it. We're seeing a lot of the Yale defenders kind of ending up on the ground, losing their footing a little bit. This is a very quick, shifty Princeton team.
So the Tigers take the lead back 2-1. Annunziata and McMeekin back on the face-off. McMeekin is well over 50% this year, but Annunziata able to win this one back for Brett Malley. Alexander picks it up. Now it's Johnson, and Yale can settle into its offense. By the way, Annunziata 43% on 90 face-offs taken this year coming into today. For comparison's sake, Rodriguez is 64% and Ramsey was 66%. Carson Cool has the 1 goal for Yale so far. It was unassisted. This is Johnny Kibe with it. For Cool, it was his 27th goal, 47th point of the year. Patrick Hackler been held off the board the last couple games, misses high with the shot. Cool backs it up with 5:18 to go in the first quarter. Princeton gives up just 10.17 goals per game, best in the Ivy League for the 2nd year in a row. Carson Cool topside with it, finds Hackler, missed the net. Matt Brandow needs just 2 goals and 3 points today to hold the career records in the Ivy League in both categories. Finds Kaib, and Gian Forcaro got a piece of that one, and the long stick picks it up. Michael Bath, who's had a great year, and Princeton has it. Michael Bath, #1 in the Ivy League in caused turnovers per game coming in. Yale's Patrick Pisano, number 23, is #2 in that category.
This Princeton defense is, you know, how they've been described. They are a good, solid defense, and with Gianfrancaro seeing the ball well, they're just not letting Yale have any good, easy looks.
Mackesy on the swim, shoots, and missed just wide. Princeton's 4 losses this year: at Maryland, at Duke, home Cornell, at Brown. So 3 really quote-unquote quality losses, all quad 1 games, but the Brown one is what is keeping them outside of the NCAA tournament picture at the moment. This is going to be an offensive foul against Colin Burns. Ran over a man behind the net, and Yale gets it back off the Princeton turnover. Yale's 2 losses this season: at Penn State in overtime, at Cornell by 3, which is why the Big Red own the tiebreaker for the #1 seed in the Ivy League tournament if both teams win today. Yale would clinch a share of the regular season title, the 10th in program history, just by winning this game. Brandow throws it out for the first-year Moynihan. Quick moving first quarter with only 3 goals so far. Logan Solberg doesn't have a lot of room, spins back, finds a little space and scores. He says, "You're too small to stay in front of me."
Logan Solberg wearing a pretty big number here at Yale, that #2. Looking like Ben Reeves, making that, creating that space, taking the shot, and then taking the contact after.
Solberg did not do much scoring early in the season, now has points in 8 of his last 10 games, and ties this game at 2-2. Faceoffs are also 2-2 so far. McMeekin's got this one himself. McMeekin, just a sophomore, right around 50% in the games against Yale last year. Big reason why Princeton was able to win both.
And facing Yale's now 3rd face-off midfielder, it's going to be a big challenge for Nunziato to keep this close for the rest of the day.
What percentage do you feel like Yale needs to be at to have a good chance today?
They got to get close to 50. I mean, even at the 50, looking at the games last year, Yale really, Princeton handled Yale last year, and they were at 50% on the faceoff. So Yale's offense, first of all, they just have to start converting more right now and solve Gianfrancaro.
There's Sean Cameron from GLE. Up top, Kabiri. The #3 ranked recruit in this class finds a wide open man, and Tucker Wade scores.
Tucker Wade with a great shot there with a little miscommunication from the Yale defense. 2 guys went and covered the ball, and just the roll back.
Another one of these outstanding rookies for Princeton, part of the #1 recruiting class in the country. And the Tigers have now had 3 separate 1-goal leads in this game. You know, we talked with Matt Madelon about all of his freshmen, and we said, what makes them so good right away? McMeekin can score by himself. He gives it up, though, because it's not just freshmen against seniors. Because of the COVID year and all the stuff that's happened in college athletics the last couple years, you know, these can be 18, 19-year-olds playing against 24-year-olds.
Yeah, and I mean, he said that, you know, that they have the Princeton standard there, and these guys have been ready. They were ready to play day 1 when they came in the door, and you look at the 2 freshmen on attack in Burns and Kabiri. They played together Georgetown Prep, so they know each other. They have that familiarity. But they play with these guys every day in practice, and so they're ready to play.
Chance for the first 2-goal lead of the day for Princeton here. Tommy Barnes gives it up. Here's Kabiri. He's got a point in every game this year. Has an assist so far today. Lucas Stannett. Mackesy, he scores! What a sharp shot from Coulter Mackesy.
I'll tell you, but you look at that beautiful throwback feed to find Mackesy. Two guys on the back door. He also had Kabiri there that he could have hit with the pass too. That's just great ball movement by Princeton and seeing the field very well by Stannett.
4 different goal scorers in the first quarter for Princeton. For Mackesy, that's his 30th goal of the year and 113th of his Princeton career. Yale went with a long stick on that face-off. That was Logan Mahalik, and it was an easy win for McMeekin.
And now Yale's going to play to try to push them back and force them to clear, kind of use your ride as an advantage.
It's interesting because as much as Princeton is backs against the wall today for getting in the Ivy League tournament, if they do win this game, they have shown 2 years in a row that they are good enough to make significant runs in the postseason, kind of no matter how the regular season goes. Last year, winning the Ivy League tournament championship after barely getting in, as we have a loose ball here, picked up though by the Tigers. The year before, they missed the Ivy League tournament and went to the Final Four.
Yeah, a great run that year.
35 seconds to go in the first quarter here at Reese Stadium.
And Mackesy just so quick. Change of speed, change of direction. He's going to look to create against Pisano.
Coulter Mackesy, 15 to shoot for Princeton. Palumbo has a goal today. 10 to shoot. Palumbo being defended by Oken. Gives it up. 5 seconds to work with for Princeton. Got to get one off here. Pisano, a great check, and it's a shot clock violation. Great defensive stand from Yale. Under 10 seconds to go in the first.
Yeah. Big stand from this Yale defense, something that we haven't really seen from them in the past. They definitely have struggled, but those long possessions, especially when they get a reset, Yale did a great job there.
It's a strong first quarter on the road for Princeton. Palumbo, Wade, Dunphy, Mackesy score, and it's 4-2 Tigers after 1.
Last year, and he said, we look at the last 8-10 years that we really they've had our number, and we just kind of got the monkey off our back last year.
4-2 Princeton after 1 quarter. Face-off's a big story. 5-2 and now 6-2 McMeekin against Annunziata. So it's really going to, you would think, rely on this Yale defense's ability to get stops for them to be able to score with Princeton today.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day if Yale can't string together a couple of plays.
They did force a shot clock violation on the last possession of the first quarter. Shots were 11-10 Princeton, 7-5 on goal for the Tigers in the opening 15. Tucker Wade, that pass tipped by Stuzen, and it stays with Princeton.
But Matt Brandow held off the board in that first quarter. That's a big one. He's the man for Yale, and yeah, Princeton doing a great job of keeping him quiet. That's Mulshine covering him.
Brandow had 1 shot that was saved in the first quarter. Nate Kabiri gives this up. It's a wild pass. Will it get all the way back to the midfield line? No. And Princeton recovers with 17 to shoot. Coulter Mackesy trying to get around Pisano. Gives it up. 8 seconds for Princeton. Tucker Wade misses well high, and now they only have 5 on the shot clock. Yale trying to perhaps force a second straight shot clock violation. Mackesy off the restart. Pisano stays on him. Mackesy has nowhere to go. It is a shot clock violation. 2 in a row forced by Yale.
And this makes me think back to those conversations early season. How did Patrick Pisano knock it on the field last year?
Yeah.
Taking Coulter Mackesy, a tremendous dodger, and just taking him one-on-one there.
Yale has 1 sophomore on each end of the field that's kind of similar. David Anderson, who's their second leading goal scorer this year, and Pisano on the other side, who combined to play in 6 games last year and did not record a single stat between the two of them. And they'll both be all Ivy League players as sophomores.
I think I can understand it a little bit more with David Anderson because, you know, you had Brandow, Johnson, and Lyons in there, and there's not a lot of room on attack.
Max Krevsky for Matt Brandow. Couple minutes into the second quarter. Brandow, the national leader in scoring, fires. That one was tipped. I think it was Gian Forcaro who got a piece. So Yale gets the reset of the shot clock to 60. Matt Brandow with 94 points this season. Carson Kuhl has a little bit of a step here, works his way back to X. Kuhl top side, wild shot, and Gian Forcaro was there for it.
Carson Kuhl just enough of a defensive play that kind of disrupted his shot so that he couldn't pick a corner and hit Gian Forcaro right in the chest.
So we've talked about where Princeton's at from a perspective towards the NCAA tournament. It's interesting where Yale is. They're 9th in the media poll. They are 10th in the RPI right now. As this pass ends up on the turf, Molly going after it. So is Lucas Stannett, and he's the one to pick it up for Princeton. So Yale is very, very close to the conversation of being a top 8 seed and hosting, but they are sort of, you know, still in need of a win or two to feel secure for the NCAA tournament. Tommy Barnes fires wide of the net. You feel like a win today wouldn't lock it, but it would be really close to locking it to get into the NCAA tournament no matter what for Yale happens next weekend.
I think if they win today, it's a hard conversation to not put them in, but nothing's a lock.
Kabiri gives it up for Barnes. Barnes missed the net, 13 to shoot. And if Yale were to win its last 3 games, I don't think there's any doubt that there will be an NCAA tournament game here at Reese Stadium. Colin Burns, low pass, knocked away, late shot clock. So every second this ball's on the turf is a problem for Princeton, and it's a 3rd consecutive shot clock violation. Won't count, but Paquette stopped the shot anyway. So the Bulldogs defense is stepping up. Now can the offense find some easier looks at Gian Forcaro, who's made 5 saves already. Last year, Michael Gian Forcaro was 2nd in the country in save percentage and was an All-American. Solberg and Kuhl are the 2 that have beat him so far today. Matt Brandow trying to get topside. He scores! And Matt Brandow is now 1 point away from becoming the all-time leading point scorer in the history of Ivy League lacrosse.
And one of the things that kind of set this play up was Yale had caught John Dunphy on defense. And so Yale and Princeton were playing 5-on-5 there, created a little bit more room. Matt Brandow just takes that one-on-one matchup, gets to 5-and-5, turns, and beats Gian Forcaro.
So it's 4-3, and Brandow now sits equal with the great Rob Pennell from Cornell. A battle for this face-off. McMeekin has the step and has it. McMeekin all the way, shoots just wide. It'll stay with Princeton. McMeekin this season has 7 goals and 2 assists, so he'll try that a couple times a game, really.
He's a big, physical, athletic guy.
As you said to me yesterday when we were talking, he walks with his chest out.
Yeah, he's a guy that, you know, as he gets older, he's going to be a Mike Sisselberger size. He's going to be Connor Farrell size. He's going to be a big guy. Already 6'1", 210, but I just see him bulking up.
Just over 5 minutes gone in the second quarter. Sean Cameron with it here for the Tigers. Makes a nice move. No shooting lane for him. Now he tries it and scores. Beats Paquette 5-hole, and Cameron's on the board.
Cameron, Another junior, a guy who will be back next year, but look at just the change of direction, creating, and then just sees his opening. Garcia, who's started his career as a long pole for Yale and now playing as a short stick D-midi out there.
And what happened there, Pat, was he kind of spun and didn't go anywhere. And it looked like Garcia was expecting him to turn back the other way, and that's what created the space.
Trying to protect the middle of the field.
It's a hold on the faceoff, a violation against McMeekin, so Yale gets it back. Princeton led 4-2 after the first quarter, and the lead is 2 again here. Matt Brandow needs 1 point to break that Ivy League record, 2 goals to break that career Ivy League record. Number 1 in the country in goals and assists, or I should say points and assists per game this year. Brandow gives this up for Kaib. Johnny Kaib. They call him Johnny Cash. He loses it. Turnover caused by the Tigers. Here they come unsettled. Pace Billings with the long stick all the way to the net. He scores! Pace Billings does it on both ends for Princeton.
And right now, Princeton playing with all of the energy. They have all the life. Nice, beautiful ground ball by Billings, and then just keeps going to the net. And you look at Krevsky there. Krevsky knows that he went for that over-the-head check. If he just plays the body and drives him down the alley, Billings isn't getting to the inside there and scoring.
That's goal number 3 of the season and 4 for the career of Pace Billings, the senior out of Denver. McMeekin's got it easily again. 8-3 Princeton on the faceoff, 6-3 Princeton on the scoreboard.
And you feel like when Ramsey went down, it took so much of the energy, so much out of the life out of the Yale team.
Princeton's had 6 different players score a goal in this game and 8 different guys with a point. Quinn Kramer takes a bump. Good catch there by Dunphy. He had the first goal of the day and now has his second. 3 in a row for Princeton, and they lead by 4.
Dunphy uses the pick, creates a little bit of separation, and then just gets his hands free.
First player in the game with multiple goals. And Dunphy makes it 7-3. McMeekin dominating the game right now. Now, if you're a Yale fan and you're looking for a reason for optimism at the moment, over the last couple weeks, Yale has gotten off to some extremely poor starts early in games, whether it was Dartmouth, whether it was Hofstra, and even UAlbany to an extent, and come back to win all those games. The Bulldogs have won their last 7 coming into today.
Well, it's been the story for the whole season of games where teams look out of it. I mean, you don't have to look. Last night, BU down
10-2.
10-2. Comes back and wins the game. You know, it's very possible. And this Yale team, their defense has been playing pretty strong. The offense has to figure out how to create some more looks.
Big save. Jared Paquette is 4th. Yale needs him to be money today, and he's made 4 saves.
Well, what I'm seeing right now is even though they have 7 goals in, he's playing like, I don't know that he's somebody that you want to really take out at half.
Yeah, we'll see what Yale does with the goalie situation. Paquette and Hugh Conrad have split the last couple games. Just past the midway point in the second quarter. Solberg, Brandow, and Kuhl have goals today for Yale. Max Krevsky gets a step, gives it up. Good ball movement. Brandow stopped by Gian Forcaro.
Huge save there for Gianvaccaro. Did a great job hugging that post, saw Brandow coming and watched it all the way.
6 saves for Michael Gianvaccaro. He made 15 in the win against Penn a week ago. And we have a timeout taken by Matt Madelon. We'll take the break with him. 6:36 to go in the first half, and Princeton is hot. Princeton has scored the last 3 goals in this game, leads 7-3, 6:36 to go, second quarter. You evaluate the season at large for Princeton, 15th in the RPI. Their opponent success, which is basically strength of schedule, is 27. They have a bunch of really good wins, Pat, but the thing that kind of sticks out is the loss against Brown that is keeping them out of the NCAA tournament picture at the moment, making today kind of a must-win game.
Yeah, a lot more on the table for Princeton today than for Yale.
Matt Madelon took the timeout to draw something up here. This is Sean Cameron. Tigers have really been solid offensively so far. Mackessy's pass knocked down and taken by Yale. Great play by Jack Monfort, one of the seniors honored today.
I just look at Mackessy was all over Monfort there. Kind of clipped him in the face mask.
Here's Brandow. Knifes his way in, got forced behind the net.
And a couple of slashes there that I feel like have been called, but they're just, that would have been something.
Low pass by Carson Cool, and it's turnover. Gianvaccaro outlets by himself. Michael Kelly on the run. We have not had a foul called in this game yet, so officials are letting the guys play. And now it's a turnover. Brett Molly caused that one.
Wow.
That was scored the last 3 goals in this game, leads 7-3, 6:36 to go, second quarter. You evaluate the season at large for Princeton, 15th in the RPI. Their opponent success, which is basically strength of schedule, is 27. They have a bunch of really good wins, Pat, but the thing that kind of sticks out is the loss against Brown that is keeping them out of the NCAA tournament picture at the moment, making today kind of a must-win game.
Yeah, a lot more on the table for Princeton today than for Yale.
Matt Madelon took the timeout to draw something up here. This is Sean Cameron. Tigers have really been solid offensively so far. Mackessy's pass knocked down and taken by Yale. Great play by Jack Monfort, one of the seniors honored today.
I just look at Mackessy was all over Monfort there. Kind of clipped him in the face mask.
Here's Brandow. Knifes his way in, got forced behind the net.
And a couple of slashes there that I feel like have been called, but they're just, that would have been something.
Low pass by Carson Cool, and it's turnover. Gianvaccaro outlets by himself. Michael Kelly on the run. We have not had a foul called in this game yet, so officials are letting the guys play. And now it's a turnover. Brett Molly caused that one.
Wow.
That was so clean, you barely even saw it.
Yeah, just a little butt dig. Pulled the bottom, lifted the bottom of Mackessy's stick and took it right from him.
Here is Matt Brandow, has 1 goal today. Patrick Hackler, the Yale captain. Gianvaccaro is on fire. Under 5 to go in the first half. And Princeton has held the #1 scoring offense in the country to 3 goals. They've scored 7 themselves, which is more than halfway to their season's average. Colter Mackessy trying to get away from Pisano. He did, and he scored. Second for Mackessy. 4 in a row for Princeton.
Mackessy and Princeton really making good use of the picks here just to create that little bit of separation. Getting Mackessy to the center third of the field, hands free. You just can't let him get there, and the slide just a little bit late.
So now 2 for Mackessy and 2 for Dunphy. And Princeton, which led 4-2 at the end of the first quarter, 4-3 early in this quarter, has now gone up 8-3 and is up 10-3 in the face-off battle. Bulldogs without their top two face-off guys, so that is an uphill climb. That area of the game, to say the least. Here's Burns at X. Kabiri running off screens, trying to find an open man. Still Burns here. Finally comes topside, stopped by Paquette. Good first half for Jared Paquette. Yale loses it, gets kicked across midfield. A huge hit on Christian Johnson. Picked up, though, by Brandow, and we have a whistle against Princeton. So it's Yale ball, and they get a full 80 on the shot clock.
And listen, I've been tough on Christian Johnson sometimes this season about him maybe going for the hit and not going for the ball. And there he goes for the ball, and that creates possession for Yale. And just a great heads-up, head-in-the-game play by Christian Johnson there.
There's Cole Cashian. You know, one name we really have not said today is David Anderson. Has not gotten the ball. Yale's second leading goal scorer. Kaib, a good catch. He shoots. That rings off the post. Bounces all the way out where Anderson does run it down. 35 goals this year for the sophomore. Peter Moynihan. Forced off his line, hits Cool. Carson Cool has a step and scores! Number 2 for Carson Cool.
Carson Cool is just such a great Dodger. One of the things said to Coach Shea this week is, how are you going to take this guy off of the attack line if Lyons and Johnson come back next year healthy? How do you take him off of the attack? Because he just gets that one-on-one dodge, creates separation, can get above the goal, turn and shoot. Just a great shot there.
Yeah, you keep saying the names of Chris Lyons and Leo Johnson and Brad Sharp. I mean, you could count as many as 8 players that you would have projected as Yale starters coming into this season that are hurt for Yale, and a lot of them have missed the whole year. So the fact that this team is 11-2, 4-1 in the Ivy League, ranked 9th in the country, 10th in the RPI, is an unbelievable testament to the program, the depth of talent, and the coaching staff.
Well, if you think about like the 2019 Yale Bulldog team that went to the national championship.
Here's Tucker Wade, missed wide.
If that team had they had Matt Brandow on attack. If they lost Matt Gaudette and they lost Jack Ty as a midfielder and Jackson Morrill on attack and T.D. Erlin taking their faceoffs, do you think they would have gotten to 11? Would they have won 3 games that year if they lost all that talent and the talent that Yale has lost this year and still been able to keep going?
And obviously, you know, it makes what Brandow has done even more impressive. And that's why Andy Shea said in his post-game comments after the UAlbany game, not just the pure numbers he's putting up, but the numbers he's put up with the players around him that have been lost due to injury is why Coach Shea feels like he has the best player in the country on his team.
Yeah, and it's downright disrespectful for the guy that's leading the country in what he's putting out there in points and doing it with a roster that's been kind of decimated by injuries, that he really not even in the conversation for, you know, the Twarton conversation. It's O'Neal, Schellenberger, and Brandow. But for what he's done for his team, for what he's done with the injuries that have been out there, if either one of those teams lost the players that Yale lost, neither one of those 2 players would be in any conversation.
And you look at the Princeton huddle, we asked Matt Madelon about Matt Brandow, and he said, you know, we've played Brennan O'Neal this year. We played C.J. Kurse this year. Matt Brandow controls the game better than anyone we've played against. Right now, though, it is Princeton controlling this particular game. They have the ball up for 2:12 to go in the first half. 6 different players with a goal for the Tigers today. That's off the outside of the post on the shot by Tucker Wade.
Yale got lucky there. Christian Johnson stumbled.
Wade against Johnson again, spins away from him. Not an angle to really shoot there, and it comes all the way across the crease. And it is going to be Yale ball here.
I just kind of thought that would be a shot.
Well, Matt Madelon, not surprisingly, did not agree with the call, but a chance for Yale to get this back to 3. Carson Cool, forced below the goal line. Randall swings it to Johnny Kibe. Just to put numbers on it, just the trio of Sharp, Lyons, and Johnson. Here's Cashian, spins free, misses wide. Those 3 guys put up 152 points last year. 112 goals and 40 assists. Minute 15 and a half. Matt Brandau looking for room. Feels like a big sequence in this game right here. Brandau, a pass, and Kibe hit the crossbar. Loose ball on the turf. Princeton's got it. Cole put a massive shot on a guy. A loose ball with Princeton trying to clear. Krevsky picks it up for Yale, and here come the Bulldogs. Unsettled spot here. It's Krevsky, and he has it knocked away. This is a bring your lunch pail kind of game. Man, oh man. 30 seconds until halftime. Timeout on the field. The fans in black and orange rise to their feet as these teams trade body blows in the final regular season game of the year.
Wow, that just a great physical sequence. Clean hits. You can get a couple of these replays. Cashian going to get down below. And Johnny Kibe just finds that hole right in. And you think about the couple of shots that Yale has hit the pipe from in close. Great hit there. Yale with a couple of really shots where they hit the pipe in close. 2 of those goals, we're looking at a 8-6 game as opposed to an 8-4 game, and this game would have a really different tone right now.
We've mentioned a couple times the scenario for Princeton today. They need a win or a Brown loss at Harvard to clinch the final spot in the Ivy League tournament. Now, that doesn't mean they'll be the 4 seed. The actual fact is, if Princeton wins today, they will in all likelihood actually be the 2 seed in the Ivy League tournament, and Yale would be the 3 seed in all likelihood, which would set up a rematch of this game in less than a week.
Well, and Yale knows that they need to beat Princeton once. It either needs to be today, it needs to be next week. I think that, you know, they keep that in the back of their mind, knowing that they'll probably have Rodriguez back next week, so the face-off matchup will look a little bit different.
Well, here Princeton can hold for the last shot of the first half. Up 8-4. Tucker Wade working on Johnson. Tucker Wade gives it up. Palumbo, 10 seconds. High pass, hits off Wade's stick. Stuzen defending now, 5 seconds to go. Pass in front, and they score! Chad Palumbo with a backbreaker with under 3 seconds to the half.
And really the perfect way to describe that is backbreaker, because Stuzen goes out there and pressures that ball. If he sits back and doesn't create that space, that's probably not a situation where they're going to be able to get that ball in the net, but it was just he was creating, and Christian Johnson had to kind of hedge between the guy that he was covering and the Dodger.
It's the 9th game in a row with multiple points for Chad Palumbo. And after leading by 2 at the end of the first quarter, Princeton on the road in a must-win game has extended the lead to 5 at halftime. Excellent, excellent 30 minutes of lacrosse from the visitors. feel like is the best thing that Princeton has done so far in this game?
Defensively, they are not letting Yale's Dodgers create space. They are creating friction. They are staying right with their guys, and no one is really being able to create that separation. You see Carson Kuhl had a couple opportunities where he did that and was able to get those goals. If Yale's Dodgers can't create that space, they're going to be in for a long day.
Well, as Andy Shea has done the last couple games, he will make the switch and goal at halftime, and it is Hugh Conrad, the sophomore from Orinda, California, who takes over for Jared Paquette. And the Conrad numbers are great, Pat.
Yeah, his percentage has been amazing, saving 63% of the shots. He's done a great job. Maybe a little bit lesser talent for or not as big games that they've played in the last 3 games, but it's going to be interesting.
Well, a violation against McMeekin on the opening faceoff of the second half is a good thing for Yale to start it. And we'll see what they can do offensively. Conrad has been credited with the win in each of the last 3 Yale games. Johnny Kibe finds Brandow, still 1 point away from breaking the career Ivy League record and 2 goals from holding that record as well. Rob Pennell, Dylan Malloy sitting on the edge of their seats here. Carson Kuhl finds Brandow at X. The shadow on him is Colin Mulshine. Brandow, tough pass for Kibe, got away. Kuhl picked it up somehow. Good bounce for Yale. Kuhl finds Brandow, save Gianforcaro. An absolute brick wall.
Gianforcaro. I'm sure Uncle Dan Flynn is listening to this. He is just playing outstanding, making every save.
Gianforcaro earlier this season in the game against Maryland, with which Princeton did not win, but he had 20 saves. That was on February 24th, a 13-7 loss for Princeton.
Sometimes you run into a hot goalie, and Yale has run into a hot goalie today.
Mackesy gave it up. Nice move and a high pass. Sean Cameron goes to run this down. 2 goals each in the first half for Palumbo, Dunphy, and Coulter Mackesy. Here's Cameron. Pisano switches onto him. 20 seconds to shoot for Princeton, and a flag flies. First of the game. Shot, score! Sean Cameron!
Cameron gets that shorty matchup, and just as he gets above GLE, uses that stick to create a little bit more elevation above GLE and put it past Conrad.
10-4, Princeton has the lead.
And that waved off the penalty.
Annunziata and McMeekin. Princeton's got another. Michael Kelly picked it up. Unsettled spot. Kelly whips it high and wide. You can tell the Tigers are playing with uber amounts of confidence right now.
Yeah. All the bounces are going their way, and Yale really needs somebody to make a play, a juice play to kind of get this team fired up.
Lucas Stannett for Mackesy. Just an assist in the first half for Nate Kabiri, who has 29 goals to lead the team this year coming in. Conrad might have gotten a piece of that one. Princeton backs it up. They determined Conrad did not touch it, so shot clock stays at 40 here. John Dunphy. He had the first goal of the day. Dunphy thought about something there. Johnson defended it well. Dunphy stopped by Conrad, so first save since coming in for Hugh Conrad. By the way, today, a doubleheader of lacrosse here at Reese Stadium. Women's team for Yale will play Columbia later on this afternoon. That team has already clinched a share of the Ivy League championship, and they'll have it outright if they win today. Solberg, save again. Gianforcaro is just impenetrable.
That's a look that you want. You're in front of the goal, your hands are free, and Gianforcaro he's just unbelievable today.
Here's Chad Palumbo. Gianforcaro and Emmett Carroll from Penn are widely regarded as the best two goalies in this conference. But from what we've seen in the two games here, Penn and Princeton playing here, and then the fact that Gianforcaro outplayed Carroll against Penn last week, you'd have to give him the nod at the moment as the best goalie in the Ivy League. Here's Chad Palumbo. Spins away from a man, gives it up. Good passing, saved by Conrad. He sprints after it. Princeton was closest. Hugh Conrad trying to keep Yale alive this afternoon. Here's Mackesy. Pisano's been on him all day. Mackesy, Pisano altered that shot quite a bit. 40 seconds to shoot for the Tigers. Ground balls are 24-12 Princeton right now. Obviously, a lot of that is face-offs, but it's a big number, big differential. Cameron finds some space, and that hit off the bar. Shot clock back to 60. Long possession here for Princeton. Here's Palumbo right into a double team. Held the ball, and he hit the crossbar. It might have been the outside post.
And a reset, and that ground ball goes to Princeton again. This Yale defense is tired, and they need to get the ball on offense and give this defense a break.
It's a bunch of quality looks on this possession for Princeton. Trying to go ahead by 7. Colter Mackesy makes the spin move and scores! A hat trick for Colter Mackesy.
Mackesy just goes one-on-one, turns and shoots, and everything going right for Princeton right now. And you look at what this Yale team needs right now is they need a sustained offensive possession to give this defense a break. But what's been happening at the X? McMeekin has been winning them all.
That one hit off the ref's foot, and McMeekin's able to pick it up anyway. You know, you think about the face-off injuries for Yale that have lasted a couple weeks now. No Rodriguez, no Ramsey. And you think about, you know, just candidly who they've played. This is the first high-quality team that they have played since the injuries occurred. So, you know, no disparaging of Hofstra or Dartmouth or UAlbany, but this is a different beast playing without your face-off guys.
Yeah, this is a team that's tremendously talented on the offensive side of the ball.
Eric Platten trying to pick up this loose ball. Princeton's got it, though. Tommy Barnes picked it up. Mackesy, top side, scores again! Back-to-back for Colter Mackesy.
Loose ball ends up with Mackesy. And Yale does not have an answer right now. Mackesy, you know, we talked about Matt Brandow being disrespected. I think Colter Mackesy felt, I put up 8-2 on these guys last year, and no one's talking about me.
Total attempts in the second half are 10-2 for Princeton. Here's Annunziata. Lost it. Carson Kuhl has to get this ball for Yale, and he doesn't. Thrown behind for Gian Forcaro. Maybe not the best decision by the first-year Nunziata there.
And he's coming off, he's limping off the field too. I think he couldn't get out of it. He had 3 guys on him and had nowhere to go.
Princeton was offside there. Yale gets a break and gets the ball back. Here they come.
They need to hold the ball for a second. Get your guys in, get into this shot clock.
Two goals for Kuhl, 1 for Solberg, 1 for Brandow today. Yale, which is 6th in the country in assists per game, does not have an assist in this game. David Anderson, who is 2nd on the team in goals, has not taken a shot yet, and Yale turns it over again. Just the 6th turnover of the game for Yale, but 2 in a row here.
Well, and with 48 seconds left on the shot clock in that, they're going right back onto defense, and it's, yeah, you need to score, you need to get back into this game, but you have to kind of break the momentum that Princeton has right now.
Well, next goal or timeout taken by a coach will be the media timeout. Tucker Wade goes below the goal line, gives it up for Colin Burns, gets topside, saved by Conrad, ended up right behind the net though. Yale undefeated at home this season, but Princeton up 8 in their building today. Open man, shot wide from Cameron. Coulter Mackesy has the last 2 goals, looking for an assist here, but Cameron missed just outside the far post. 7 seconds for Princeton to work with here. This is Tucker Wade. A little bit of room. Conrad made the stop. Wade was going down to the turf as he took it, and Conrad now has 3 saves since entering the game. Here's Patrick Hackler, finds Johnny Kibe. Under 6 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Yale looking to get on the board in this frame. Thomas Bragg, he scores! So maybe a little bit of a halt to the Princeton momentum as Bragg scores his first of the game. 5:37 to go in the 3rd quarter. It is 12-5, Princeton ahead. So Yale gets a goal right before the media timeout. First of the day from Thomas Bragg, and they're finally at least once able to solve the puzzle that is Michael Gian Forcaro.
Look at that nice high to load release.
McMeekin has another one. Justin Gallanty, Pat Reid, our entire outstanding crew. Thrilled you're with us from Reese Stadium in New Haven. Regular season finale, Princeton perhaps closing in on clinching the last spot in the Ivy League tournament, and in all likelihood, the number 2 seed. If that happens, it would also guarantee that both these teams will be headed to Ithaca for that tournament starting Friday night.
And now you see Princeton saying, let's not rush these offensive possessions.
Here's Chad Palumbo. Not a good pass there, turnover. Yale ball. If Princeton were to win and get the 2 seed, then these 2 teams would play again on Friday in the semifinal. It would be the 3rd year in a row they play each other in some sort of postseason game. And the only differences between today and Friday would be the game would be in Central New York, and they would flip uniform colors. Gianforcaro makes the save. That shot looked like it was going high anyway from Krevsky.
Krevsky really didn't get a good grip on that shot.
Ten saves now for Michael Gianforcaro. Only 5 goals against. Lucas Stanett gives it up. Kabiri didn't quite control the pass. Battle in the corner. It's a push against Yale, so Princeton keeps with a reset to 60 on the shot clock.
Yeah, that looked like just a good check on that chase.
Total attempts are now 41 to 23 for Princeton. And another goal for the Tigers. That's John Dunphy's third of the day.
Dunphy one-on-one with Oken and just creates the space. No slide comes. And Conrad left alone there, 1-on-0 with the goalie, or left on 1-on-0 with the shooter.
Faceoffs are 15 to 5 for Princeton in this game. Here they come again. And White backs this out. Four goals for Colter Mackesy today and 3 for Dunphy. That's 7 of the 13 for Princeton. They've held Matt Brandow to 1 point. The national leader in scoring. Brandow has scored at least 3 points in every game this year. Had 37 points in the last 4 games coming in. Kabiri, actually that was Burns, and he didn't get anything on the shot. Here's Montfort. Ahead with speed. Takes a couple bumps, still able to hold on to it. Still Montfort here. Finally finds Moynihan. Princeton just makes everything hard on you from an offensive perspective. The #1 defense in this conference for the 2nd year in a row. Here is Brandow, top side, he scores! And Matt Brandow is the all-time point-scoring leader in Ivy League history.
Brandow takes his matchup to the hole, but paid the price there with a late hit. You saw a flag come out. I don't know if that's going to be for a push during the play or a late hit. But he takes Mulshine, just uses his momentum, gets a little bit below. Gets low with the body, but then puts it over Gianforcaro.
He moves past Rob Pennell to become the all-time scoring leader in Ivy League history, and he needs 1 more goal to pass Dylan Malloy for the goal-scoring record. 355 career points for Matt Brandow, first in Ivy League history and the 6th most overall in the history of Division I men's lacrosse. They do enforce the penalty, by the way. So Yale will be man up for a minute. It was against Michael Kelly. And now, if you're Yale, I mean, obviously you're fighting super uphill here, but can you get 2 more?
Well, the one thing that you can't do is let
quick strike, and it's wide.
Is let Princeton win it clean forward. And in that situation, Nunziato's gotta just tie him up, get the extra defender in there.
So let's see if Princeton can run this timeout. Took a quick shot a moment ago. Now it's loose on the turf, and Hackler picks it up for Yale. So a big cause turnover for the Bulldogs. And here they come on the run. Jack Oken. Yale crowd is desperate for a reason to get involved in this game.
And Brandow comes out high. He's usually been playing down low near GLE, and he comes up high. He wants the ball.
Yale's EMO has struggled this year. They could really use it to get them a goal here. 15 seconds to work with. Plenty of time in the shot clock, though. Johnny Kibe for Krevsky. Brandow up top. Anderson, still nothing on the board for him today. Thomas Bragg, that is blocked. Wow, what a job to give up the body there, and they're gonna blow the whistle with 1 minute and 8 seconds left. That is Michael Bath, who's had an unbelievably good year for Princeton.
Leads the team in caused turnovers, and it's just a force to be reckoned with. You get close to him, and he's gonna take that ball away from you. Glad that he jumped up on his own and got himself off the field.
So we're back to even strength, but Yale still has the ball, and they reset the shot clock to 60. Here's Brandow. Gets the little screen. Has the long pole on him. Shoots high, backed up by Thomas Bragg. Still tons of time for Yale to work with here in the third quarter. Bragg holding on to it, finds Johnny Kibe. Thomas Bragg shoots. There was nowhere to shoot there. He missed high. There was a defender and a goalie in the way. And Brandow will pick it up again. 30 seconds to work with. Matt Brandow all the way across, gets to Krevsky. Trying to spin his way through a double team. Took a huge hit. Nice swim, and he scores! What a move by Max Krevsky!
That is exactly the play that Yale needs to get back into this game. An individual effort, you take the abuse and you fight through a double, get right to the middle of the field, split them, and then shoot high to low.
Now there was a flag out on the play as well, but this time it will not be enforced. So a couple in a row for Yale. No, they will enforce it, I should say.
I mean, I think you have to. I mean, that was a slash to the head. I would all.
Well, I don't see anybody in the box, but the penalty time is on the board. It says number 9, but it's Cooper Mueller, 66, who is in the penalty area. 22 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Couple in a row for Yale, trying to build some momentum going into the final 15 minutes. Let's see if McMeekin just holds the ball here. He lost it. Still 8 seconds to go. This is Hackler. 5 seconds for Yale. Little bit of time. Carson Kuhl throws it past Anderson, and that's the end of the third quarter.
Would have held the ball there.
So Yale gets the last 2 of the third quarter and trails by 6 headed to the fourth. Maybe a missed opportunity there, being a man up on that last sequence. They got the ball with 6 seconds left in the quarter, but still with penalty time left, and if they had held the ball, they would have started the fourth with it.
Yeah, uncharacteristic, error there for Yale. And they try to make up for it by going kind of a double pole on the faceoff there, and that didn't work. Princeton gets the possession, is really just going to milk the clock here. They know now that the clock is their friend. They want to play, go after it. And Yale causes it, puts the ball on the ground.
Hackler picked it up. So right as we get back to even strength, Yale gets the ball back. And as much as this is going to be difficult, if you're a Yale fan, I think we can say crazier things have happened this year in college lacrosse.
Well,
not many, but some.
That Siena Manhattan game, what was it, 4 or 5 goals in the last minute? So anything's possible. But it is a monumental challenge ahead of Yale right now.
Cole Cashian has the ball and gave it up. This is Krevsky. Had the last goal. Gian Forcaro the save. What has Princeton done against David Anderson today? I mean, he has not even taken a shot, and he's barely touched the ball.
Well, David Anderson is not an initiator. He's a finisher. So it's the problems that the Yale offense is having, where usually they're able to dodge, create that space, draw a slide, and then find Anderson, and they're just not getting possessions, and they're not getting long possessions.
If you look at the statistics, the best thing Yale has done today is handle the turnover category. They are +8. but trailed the game by 6. Nate Kabiri. Kind of a quiet day for the freshman. Just 1 assist. And that hit the outside of the net. Conrad picks it up. Princeton needs to hold this lead for a little under 13 minutes, and they will book their ticket to Ithaca for the Ivy League tournament with Cornell, Yale, and Penn. It'll actually be the same exact 4 teams as last year playing in the Ivy League tournament. Matt Brandow. Now it's Moynihan. Cuts to the net. Here's Bragg. A little bit of room. And that was tipped and an easy save for Gian Forcaro. And a good pickup on the ground ball by Pace Billings, who has a goal today as well.
Princeton with just that never quit defense where he's right there. You're just staying on those hands and not letting Thomas Bragg get a free shot from that close in front of your goalie.
The clock is certainly the Tigers' friend here. Pass got through, but picked up by Dunphy.
Princeton really content to just take as long as they can before they can go to the goal.
And a lot of that is because of the guy they have in goal on the other side. It's going to be hard to beat him 6 times in 1 quarter. 12 seconds for Barnes to work with. Tommy Barnes gives this up for Mackesy. Defended by Pisano, went down to the turf, takes a couple hits, 3 seconds, 2, 1, Yale's got it. Would have been a shot clock violation anyway, but they're on the run here. Thomas Bragg thought about the pass for Brandow, instead hits Carson Kuhl. Two goals today for Brandow to set the Ivy League career points record. Needs 1 more goal for the career goals record. Cole Cashian lost it. Picked up by Bath.
And as much as Yale has been so good all year at spreading the ball around, I feel like in that situation, you got to put the ball in Matt Brandow's stick. Start it there. Get it to your best player. He has not had the touches today, just not seeing the ball as much as you need to.
10 minutes to play. Palumbo has Brett Malley on him. Kabiri at X. Cameron. Princeton took a full 90 on the last possession, never got a shot away. Mackesy winds up and hit the post, and it bounces right back to Sean Cameron. It's a 39-18 ground balls advantage for Princeton this afternoon.
Ground balls win games, and that's where you think about how many of these possessions that have extended because of the ground balls that Princeton has got out, after a shot.
9 minutes to go. Kabiri, extra pass. That is wide and high. Sean Cameron took it, stays with Princeton here. And Andy Shea will use a timeout. 8:56 to go here in the 4th quarter. And we'll take a break. 13-7. Princeton has the lead. Princeton ball out of a timeout. 13-7. The Tigers lead. 8:56 to go, 4th quarter. Alongside Patrick Reid, Justin Gallanty, and our entire outstanding crew. Happy you're with us today. Happy you've been with us all season. And hope you'll join our friends over at ESPN for the Ivy League Men's Lacrosse Tournament starting next Friday night. Princeton is closing in on booking their ticket there. 15 seconds here to shoot. Kabiri stopped by Conrad, but it's another ground ball that Princeton's going to get easily. Bounces are just splashed in black and orange today, it seems. They have played an outstanding game, and when there's been a 50-50 ball, it seems like Princeton's gotten it.
Princeton just playing like their season depended on it, which was what we knew coming in, is that they needed to win this game to get to assure themselves getting into the Ivy League tournament.
Here's Coulter Mackesy. Pass in between two different guys. It's going to come all the way out towards midfield. Over and back against Princeton. Yale ball with 8 minutes to work with. The #1 offense in the country has been held to 7 goals today. But still some time to work with. How about the pole making something happen? Stuzen will back things up. Ball out of a timeout. 13-7. The Tigers lead. 8:56 to go, fourth quarter. Alongside Patrick Reid, Justin Gallanty, and our entire outstanding crew. Happy you're with us today. Happy you've been with us all season. And hope you'll join our friends over at ESPN for the Ivy League Men's Lacrosse Tournament starting next Friday night. Princeton is closing in on booking their ticket there. 15 seconds here to shoot. Kabiri stopped by Conrad, but it's another ground ball that Princeton's going to get easily. Bounces are just splashed in black and orange today, it seems. They have played an outstanding game, and when there's been a 50-50 ball, it seems like Princeton's gotten it.
Princeton just playing like their season depended on it, which was what we knew coming in, is that they needed to win this game to get to assure themselves getting into the Ivy League tournament.
Here's Coulter Mackesy. Pass in between two different guys. It's going to come all the way out towards midfield. Over and back against Princeton. Yale ball with 8 minutes to work with. The #1 offense in the country has been held to 7 goals today. But still some time to work with. How about the pole making something happen? Stuzen will back things up. And now it's Brandow. You feel like Brandow has to touch the ball every time Yale has the ball the rest of this game?
I think he should have been touching the ball every time they got the ball the entire game, but he needs it now. They need him to make something happen.
Here's Carson Cool. On for Caro, another save. And we're going to have a crease violation against Yale. I think Anderson got in there, so it's Princeton ball. You know, just kind of a human nature point. But as you said, I mean, Yale has a good amount on the line today. It's the Ivy League regular season title, albeit even if they win this game, it's unlikely they'll host the tournament. It's getting very close to locking in a spot in the NCAA tournament. But you would think it's hard, I guess, to muster the do or die, win or go home intensity that Princeton has played with today, because, you know, that is not the case for Yale coming in this game.
Yeah, I have felt that Yale has more on the line today than I think most people
Another
think.
one for Princeton. Tucker Wade doubles up Yale. 6:30 to go, and Princeton's up 14-7.
I look at this game and the way Princeton is handling Yale in this game, how is that going to impact the tone of next week? Is Yale going to be able to respond? Are they going to step up? And, you know, Princeton's smacking them in the mouth today. And if they can respond next week, that's one thing. But right now, they are not a team that's playing with intensity.
No, I understand that. But, you know, I think the point you have to make, and it's true, right? Like, Princeton has played outstanding today. Probably the best game they've played this year. Here's Montfort all the way in. Save for Caro. Ball's popped up, comes right to Carson Cool. Patrick Hackler kind of fell on it there for Yale and then picks it up behind the net. 6:10 to go. Here's Brandow. But just to finish the point, I mean, today's game is not all that relevant if Mac Rodriguez plays next week. Yale, if he plays, I mean, as good as McMeekin is, you're not going to lose the faceoffs 19-6.
Yeah, but if Gianfrancaro plays this good again next week, and it's a 50-50 game.
Well, sure, but you know, Yale's getting outshot by 20, and that's because of faceoffs, not a goalie.
And it's about getting the second looks.
Right.
Getting the second looks, which Yale is not getting with these plays.
Now, there's another question that sort of pops into your head here, which is Princeton was 15 in the RPI coming into this game. This is going to be a huge quad one road win for them. Here's Brandow top side. 15 to work with. Gives it up. Krevsky scores! And that breaks Matt Brandow's streak, or at least it keeps it going, of at least 3 points in every game this year. And Krevsky makes it 14-8. And it keeps his streak going of an assist in every game this year. So the question on the Princeton side of things is, you know, if they win this game and go to the Ivy League tournament 9-4, 4-2 in the Ivy League, do they have a path to not winning the Ivy League tournament but still getting in the NCAA tournament?
Oh, that's a good one. I think that I think they need to win the tournament to get in.
Well, they're 5 minutes away from making sure they will be there. 20 for 26 on faceoffs today. They've outshot Yale 50-33. And the Tigers play with the ball and a 6-point lead.
And with 4.5 minutes left, have held the #1 scoring team in the country to 8 goals.
Hackler knocks that ball away. Here's Pisano. Now it's Brandow. Save! Gianfrancaro. It'll stay with Yale. And we have a timeout taken by Matt Madelon for Princeton with 4:12 to go. Feel bad for our friends getting ready in Hanover and Cambridge, because if this result holds, the final 2 games of the Ivy League regular season will be meaningless.
Mm-hmm. Princeton, got to give Princeton a lot of credit today. It just came out determined and played a great game. One of the best games they played this year. Probably the most complete game. Really kind of in all the facets of the game have put a great showing together.
And you have to give them a lot of credit for bouncing back from what happened against Brown. I mean, they lost by a goal in Providence on April 13th. And if this holds in the next 2 games, the last 2 of the regular season, that became must-win for them, they will get their 2 highest ranked wins of the season. Penn was ranked 13th when they beat them last week, and this would be their highest ranked win of the year.
Well, when we talked to Coach Madelon, one of the things he talked about was the youth of this team and how that youth leads to inconsistency. Kids who are young, they just, moments get big, they make kind of senseless mistakes, and that's what you see in young teams. They run hot and cold, and so you're seeing a team that's really kind of, as their youth, they settle in a little bit better. They rise to the occasion.
Here's Brandow. Directing traffic with 4 minutes to play. Liam Fairback defends him. Brandow taking some hits. Ball ends up with Cool behind the net. Carson Cool took a whack there. Still holds on to it.
And the Yale bench wanting a call there.
This is Moynihan. He shoots off the post. Reset to 60 on the shot clock. Matt Brandau. Finds a man, Krevsky, and Gian Forcaro might have gotten a piece of that. He did.
Resetting the shot clock. But again, right now, Yale, it's the time. 3 minutes left. And we see Coach Madelon take another timeout. Another very good defensive stand from this Princeton defense, just getting longer and longer, making Yale go longer and longer into that possession.
You know, you mentioned with all the young players and all the freshmen that Princeton has, maybe, as Coach put it, Coach Madelon, there was going to be a game where freshman mistakes might cost them the game, and that happened against Brown. For Yale, I mean, with all these injuries that we've talked about, right, potentially 8 guys that would have been starters this season missing, if not the whole season, most of it, there was bound to be a game where they just didn't have it, and they didn't have the horses to really stick in it for 60 minutes. And frankly, it's kind of amazing it hadn't happened yet, but it's happened today.
Yeah, and it's, well, listen, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the injuries that do it. Princeton's a legit team. I mean, they really,
right.
They aren't the #1 defense in the Ivy League for nothing. They've done it game in and game out. Yale, I think part of it is the mentality of just seeing, I think, Nick Ramsey go down in after that first faceoff. He won the faceoff, and he was going for it. Could have been a possession for Yale, and then he goes down, and that really definitely hurt the team. And I'm Ramsey, a guy who graduating, has more eligibility, is in the portal. I'm curious as to where he'll go next year.
Just to make the point again, Princeton has won 20 out of 26 faceoffs today. Krevsky saved by Gian Forcaro. Before the injuries to Ramsey and Rodriguez, Yale was the #1 faceoff team in the country, and they are, let's say, very hopeful to get Machado Rodriguez back for the Ivy League tournament semifinal Friday night. He has not played since early in the Dartmouth game, which was on April 13th. 2:30 to go.
When you look at this Princeton roster and how young it is and how many guys are playing, you got to think that 2 years from now, 2 years from now, what a team that this is going to be.
And what about, as Mackesy takes a couple hits, all the former Princeton Tigers that are making impacts around the country in their grad transfer years. Mackesy, one more. Number 5 for Coulter Mackesy. And that should seal Princeton's trip to the Ivy League tournament.
Mackesy coming right across the front of the crease. And honestly, if I'm Coach Madelon, I'm kind of hoping that he doesn't do that, because you see Cashian coming from the other side and really could have lowered the boom there.
So 15-8, 2:03 to go. But anyway, you know, Yale had some guys that helped Notre Dame win the national championship last year. Tevlin, Fake, former Bulldogs. And Princeton's kind of got some similar situations around the country this season. Guys that had eligibility left, couldn't use it at Princeton, and they are making huge impacts around the nation.
Oh yeah, I mean, all across, you know, you've got Sammy English and Jake Stevens at Syracuse, Alex Slusher at Duke, Cahal Roberts, Christian Ronda, Bo Pedersen at Michigan, Alex Verdaro, Georgetown. I mean, it's just, the list goes on and on. But the one that we didn't talk about is on the other side. You think about James Ball, who's down there playing at Georgetown, the former Yale faceoff midfielder. If he's here, he had such a big game when Yale played St. Joe's in the tournament a couple of years ago. Really kind of helped them seal that victory. if Yale has him right now, this is a different game.
Flag is down, so we'll get the call here as the ball rolls over the sideline. And we asked Matt Madelon about that. We said, you know, what are your emotions watching your former players around the country? And he said it is sort of bittersweet because we wish they could still be here, but the fact that they're not allowed to still be here is sort of what makes Princeton so special.
Yeah, and it's a great, what Coach Madelon has done since taking over with 5 games left in 2016 and just really helping bring Princeton back to what Coach Tierney had done to take it to that next level and just be at the top of the NCAA. He's doing a great job in what he's building.
Yeah, Princeton was national champion 6 times from 1992 to 2001. They've made the last 2 NCAA tournaments after not having made one since 2012. Now, that's a little bit of a flawed stat because there was no tournament in 2020. Princeton started that year 5-0 and might have been the best team in the country. 2021, no Ivy League season, so it eliminates some of the years, but Princeton is back to seemingly where it should be, at the top of the Ivy League with teams like Yale, teams like Cornell, teams like Penn. And those 4 will officially, in 15 seconds, be battling things out in Ithaca Friday and Sunday of next week. 15-8 will be your final. The Princeton Tigers have come on the road, picked up their biggest win of the year with their backs firmly pressed up against the wall. We'll get one more enforcement of a penalty here, and then Princeton can run out the last 2.9. $15-8 is the final. Princeton wins, and the Tigers will go back to the Ivy League tournament, hoping to defend their championship. Back-to-back top 15 wins for Princeton. 15-8 your final today. Thanks so much for being with us today and all season. For our entire outstanding crew and my partner Patrick Reid, I'm Justin Gallanty saying so long. One more time, Princeton wins it 15-8. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.